And Rwanda has carried out the public flight of a self-flying electric car taxi in the country, the first of its kind in the African continent. Well, the successful demonstration took place during the Aviation Africa 2025 summit in Kigali, the capital of Rwanda. Now, Rwanda now joins other countries that are also test-driving electric self-flying air taxis, including China, Germany, the Dominican Republic, Israel, and the United States.
Rwanda has made history by launching Africa's first self-flying electric air taxi, the e-Hang, during the Aviation Africa 2025 summit in Kigali. This fully autonomous aircraft, developed in partnership with China's China Road and Bridge Corporation, CRBC, marks a significant milestone in the continent's aviation landscape.
This is mind-blowing. I'm inside the cabin of a self-flying electric taxi. No controls. Literally, you leave everything up to the computer here and the system. Get in and your destination, you put in, and up you go into the air to your final destination. It's incredible.
The demonstration of this new technology was jointly undertaken by Rwandan and Chinese firms, and according to a statement by the Rwandan Ministry of Infrastructure, the initiative solidifies the East African nation's position as Africa's hub for testing and implementing cutting-edge aviation technology. With Rwanda's test flight emerging as a major milestone for Africa, the country still needs to develop regulatory frameworks to govern its operations.
Rwanda has emerged at the center of international attention following the announcement and early deployment of advanced air mobility technology that many are describing as Africa's closest step yet toward flying cars. The development involving electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, or EVTOLs, has prompted reactions from technology experts, policymakers, and aviation authorities across the world, including in the United States, where similar projects remain largely confined to testing and regulatory review. While the term flying car is often used in popular discussion, officials and engineers involved in the Rwandan initiative describe the project more cautiously, framing it as a major advance in urban air transport rather than a consumer vehicle rollout. Nevertheless, the symbolism has been powerful. Rwanda, a country of just over 13 million people, is now being cited as a leader in Africa's push toward next-generation transportation. The announcement follows years of investment by the Rwandan government in technology-driven infrastructure, positioning the country as a test bed for innovations that many larger economies are still struggling to operationalize. The aircraft involved are designed to operate without runways, rising vertically like helicopters before transitioning to forward flight. They are electric, produce significantly less noise than traditional aircraft, and are intended for short-distance travel within and between cities. Rwandan officials say the goal is not novelty, but necessity. With growing urban populations and limited road infrastructure, the country has sought alternatives that can bypass congestion while remaining environmentally sustainable. Trials have been conducted under tightly controlled conditions with oversight from Rwanda's Civil Aviation Authority and in coordination with international aerospace firms. Officials emphasize that safety certification, airspace management, and regulatory compliance remain central to the project. The move has drawn attention far beyond Africa. In the United States, where companies have invested billions of dollars into flying car and air taxi concepts, analysts note that Rwanda's progress highlights how regulatory flexibility and political coordination can accelerate innovation. Several American tech commentators expressed surprise that a country with far fewer resources than the U.S. has moved more quickly from concept to real-world testing. U.S. aviation regulators have long cited safety and airspace complexity as reasons for caution, particularly in dense urban environments. Rwanda, by contrast, has adopted a phased approach, beginning with limited routes and clearly defined operational zones. Supporters of the Rwandan model argue that this approach allows innovation without compromising safety. Critics, however, warn that scaling such systems will present significant challenges, regardless of geography. For Rwanda, the flying car narrative fits into a broader technological strategy. The country previously gained global recognition for deploying drone technology to deliver medical supplies to remote areas, reducing delivery times from hours to minutes. That initiative, now studied internationally, demonstrated how emerging technologies could address real-world problems in resource-constrained environments. Officials say the same philosophy underpins the current aviation project. Rather than replicating Western transport systems, Rwanda aims to leapfrog them, adopting solutions tailored to its specific needs. Government representatives have described the initiative as part of a long-term vision to transform Kigali into a regional technology hub capable of attracting investment, talent, and international partnerships. In interviews, Rwandan officials have stressed that the project is not about competing with the United States or Europe, but about demonstrating that innovation is no longer confined to traditional power centers. Still, the comparisons have been unavoidable. In the U.S., flying car projects have faced delays due to regulatory complexity, public skepticism, and high development costs. Several high-profile ventures have struggled to move beyond prototypes. By contrast, Rwanda's centralized governance structure has enabled close coordination between regulators, infrastructure planners, and private companies. This has reignited debate among policymakers about whether innovation thrives best under decentralized market systems or more tightly coordinated national strategies. Aviation experts caution against drawing overly simplistic conclusions. They note that Rwanda's trials are occurring on a much smaller scale than what would be required in major U.S. cities, where airspace is crowded and regulatory frameworks are fragmented across federal, state, and local levels. Nevertheless, they acknowledge that Rwanda's progress challenges assumptions about where cutting-edge innovation can originate. International reaction has been mixed but intense. In Africa, many commentators have hailed the development as a breakthrough, arguing that it signals a shift in how the continent is perceived in global technology discussions. For decades, Africa has often been portrayed as a passive recipient of innovation rather than a source of it. Supporters say Rwanda's project disrupts that narrative. Others urge caution, warning against overstating the implications of early trials. They note that widespread adoption of flying car technology remains years away and dependent on cost, safety, and public acceptance. Environmental groups have also weighed in, noting that while electric air mobility offers potential emissions reductions, its overall environmental impact depends on energy sources, manufacturing processes, and operational scale. In Kigali, reactions among residents have ranged from excitement to skepticism. Some see the project as a symbol of national ambition and global relevance. Others question whether such advanced technology addresses more immediate concerns such as housing, employment, and health care. Government officials respond by arguing that technological investment and social development are not mutually exclusive and that innovation can drive economic growth that benefits wider society. The U.S. response has extended beyond the technology sector. Political commentators have framed Rwanda's move as part of a broader global trend in which smaller nations leverage agility to outpace larger economies in specific domains. Some have described it as a wake-up call for American innovation policy, particularly in areas where regulation may be inhibiting progress. Others dismiss such claims, emphasizing that the U.S. continues to lead in aerospace research and development, even if deployment timelines differ. Within the aviation industry, the focus has been on data. Engineers are closely watching Rwanda's trials to assess performance, safety metrics, and public response. The information gathered could influence regulatory decisions worldwide. International aviation bodies have welcomed Rwanda's engagement, noting that global coordination will be essential as air mobility technologies become more widespread. They stress that shared standards, transparent reporting, and collaboration will determine whether flying cars move from experimental novelty to practical transport solution. As Rwanda continues its trials, questions remain about scalability, cost, and integration with existing transport systems. For now, the project represents a significant moment in the evolving story of global innovation. It illustrates how technological leadership is becoming more distributed, shaped not only by wealth and size, but by political will, regulatory design, and strategic vision. Whether Rwanda's flying car initiative ultimately transforms urban transport or remains a limited experiment, its impact on global perceptions is already evident. It has challenged assumptions, sparked debate, and reminded the world that the future of technology may arrive from places long overlooked.